This is Midday News. Thanks for joining us. Local level government managers and community development officers in his New Britain province will now be equipped with an in-depth ward digital reporting system after undergoing a 2-week training. The training concluded last Friday. The training, organized by the East New Britain Provincial Administrators Division of LLG and Ward Affairs in partnership with Allied Technology, engaged an LLG from each of the 4 districts to pilot the program in the province. The training is a decision by the Provincial Executive Council to improve reporting and evaluation of projects carried out by the provincial administration. The Ward Digital Reporting System is a step forward towards improving governance as well as service delivery in the province. The East New Britain PA continues to face challenges with reporting, monitoring and assessment of programs and projects, but the full rollout of the system will ease the challenges faced during reporting and evaluation. The Imbangu district in the Southern Highlands province is hosting several important events this week. The first of which is the meeting of the Judicial and Legal Service Commission held at the district headquarters in Walume. The JLSC meeting, as for the first time, concluded outside of Port Moresby. Following the burning of the courthouse in Mendi in 2022, the National Court was transferred to Walume, and the completion of this building now signifies the commencement of the National Court sitting in the district. The first National Court sitting in Walume will be held on Friday, where Deputy Chief Justice Emba Kandakasi is scheduled to preside over cases at the new National Court. Underway today is the opening of the legal hear for the islands region. Members of all 3 disciplinary forces are on the ground to provide guard of the honor. The opening of the legal hear coincides with the opening of the National Courthouse in Walume. The legal hear 2024 commenced in Kavieng, New Island Province, marked a solemn dedication service led by Presiding Judge Justice Fraser Pitpit, held at the Kavieng National Courthouse. The event saw the participation of legal staff, government officials and representatives from the law and justice sector. Edwin Minge, representing Governor Sir Julius Chang, emphasized the importance of law and order in fostering peace and development. Justice Pitpit underscores the theme of enhancement of rule of law, urging collective efforts to uphold legal standards for societal progress. The ceremony signifies a renewed commitment to justice and the rule of law in the province. Local women entrepreneurs, from micro or informal businesses to aspiring and women-led business, are now supported through the Teachers Savings and Loan Society Limited in partnership with the PNG Indigenous Women Entrepreneurs Connect. TISA is providing support of the funding support of 200,000 kina to PNG IWEC to support the rollout of these programs and initiatives to help all women. The first 2 initiatives underway for PNG IWEC is the launching of its social insurance for women to access and an economic development event hosted by Indigenous women in industry in New Zealand, where 12 of PNG's local women entrepreneurs will attend this week. Papua New Guinea Prime Minister James Marape delivered a historic address at the Australian Parliament House this morning. Australia Prime Minister Anthony Albanese extended a warm welcome, highlighting the deep-rooted friendship between the 2 nations. The address emphasized shared achievements, collaborative efforts, and a commitment to mutual prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. It marks a significant milestone in strengthening bilateral ties and fostering cooperation for a prosperous and peaceful future.
I am very deeply honored to be accorded this rare privilege, being the first Prime Minister of my country, to address the Australian Parliament. It is a high privilege I do not take for granted, and my people and myself will treasure this moment as a moment of honor for Papua New Guinea, and more importantly, Papua New Guinea-Australia relationship. Thus, it is with a profound sense of humility and responsibility that I am giving you this address. This is truly a historic moment for my country.
Prince William has thanked the public for their well wishes following his father's, King Charles, shock cancer diagnosis as he returns to public duty. William took center stage at a gala dinner as his brother Prince Harry was set to return to the United States after visiting the King. The event saw Royal's second official public appearance on Wednesday after returning to work following his wife Kate's planned surgery on January 16, with the King postponing public duties to undergo outpatient treatment. The onus will be on remaining royals, especially William and Queen Camilla, to be the monarchy public's face. Governments across Australia are failing Indigenous community with their close-the-gap policies. That's one of the scathing findings from the Productive Commission. It's called on governments to relinquish power and share it with Indigenous-run organizations to achieve real change.
Across health, education and housing, Aboriginal-run organisations are delivering services every day under the Closing the Gap agreement. Now a damning report is criticising government for not keeping its end of the deal.
The majority of funding relating to services for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people actually doesn't go to the community-controlled sector. It goes to the NGO sector, which is not us.
Aboriginal community-controlled organisations have told the Productivity Commission review of the National Agreement on Closing the Gap it's not working.
The intention was that governments would work with the Aboriginal community-controlled sector, acknowledging that they were underfunded compared to their non-Indigenous counterparts, and that has not yet happened across the entire agreement.
Closing the Gap is 15 years old, but in 2020, governments signed up to a radical overhaul, promising to share power with Indigenous-run organisations. Today's report says governments are unwilling to relinquish control and aren't revealing where and what it's spending money on.
What we need to do is hold Indigenous organisations responsible for the money that the taxpayer is giving them and stop turning a blind eye to make sure that money is being well spent.
Aboriginal community-controlled organisations are already audited. There are really, really strong controls in place.
The Productivity Commission spent 3 years looking into the effectiveness of the 2020 agreement. What was prevalent in the submissions was tension over money.
Yes, we did see examples where funding was given to external bodies outside of the Aboriginal community-controlled sector.
A message noted by the nation's leader.
We'll continue to put forward practical measures in order to close the gap, and we'll be making our statements when the Closing the Gap report is tabled shortly.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected a Hamas ceasefire deal that would ensure the return of hostages still in Gaza. Netanyahu renewed a pledge to destroy Hamas, saying there was no alternative for Israel but to bring about the collapse of Hamas. He says that total victory against Hamas was the only solution to the Gaza war. Hamas had proposed a Gaza ceasefire of 4.5 months, during which all hostages would go free. Israel would withdraw its troops from the Gaza Strip, and an agreement would be reached on an end to the war. Mr. Netanyahu made a commitment on Wednesday shortly after meeting U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who has been traveling the region in hopes of securing a ceasefire deal. Now in sports, after a rampant start, defending champions New Zealand and Fiji played their hearts to victory, beating their opponents at the OFC Olympic qualifier in Samoa Wednesday in pursuit of qualifying for the Olympic women's football tournament in Paris this August.
The football fans beat Tonga 3-0 in a tough encounter. The New Zealanders arrived in Apia from destinations across the globe but took little time to adjust to the sweltering heat at the TFF football stadium. As they ran, the Tongan defence raged in the opening half. New Zealand's goal came from Grace Jelly with 2 and Ali Green. Jelly had her second in the 16th minute when she cut inside and placed a killing right-footed shot into the far corner. Tongan keeper Madison Tafifa was constantly in the action and made some good saves to deny the Kiwis, who failed to add to their tally in the final 30 minutes of the half. New Zealand led 3-0 at half-time. The Tongan defence was impressive, however with less opportunity to score. They kept their shape, were compact and had New Zealand scoreless to full-time. In the Group A match, a Fijian side was impressive, beating American Samoa 10-0. Striker Sophie Diallo-Wai scored a hat-trick and were dominant from the outset. The American Samoans were starved of possession, but when Fiji's defense was solid, keeping the opponent at bay to the final whistle. In March 2nd on Saturday, February 10th, PNG faces Fiji. New Zealand meets Samoa, Vanuatu takes on Tonga, and American Samoa plays Solomon Islands. Rex Litter, TVWan Sports.
This ends the midday news. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.